Hi there, I'm Chris from Sallyforth, and today we're going to be talking about Frostgrave Perilous Dark. So, I've been a big fan of Frostgrave ever since the first edition came out with the first Kickstarter 2 or 3 years ago. It's a great fantasy skirmish game. You have about 10 figures in your force, and up until now it's been very much a two-player, one wizard's warband against another wizard's warband, and that's really great. I'm quite lucky that I've got a couple of groups of gamers, and we get together and we play most weeks. But that still leaves 5 or 6 nights a week when I haven't got a game lined up. So Perilous Dark gives you the opportunity either to play Frostgrave as a solo, so one warband against the terrain and the scenario, or to play it as a cooperative mode where you have a number of players but they're kind of on the same side, cooperating with each other rather than competing, and trying to reach the objectives of the mission. So let's have a little flick through the rulebook and find out what you get in Perilous Dark. Okay, so let's have a look at what you get in a Perilous Dark rulebook. So it's divided into 4 main sections, and what I like about it is that as well as explaining how to run the particular scenarios that Joe's described in this book, it gives you a lot of background information about the design process and what you need to do to convert some of the existing scenarios into solo or cooperative play mode. So starting off, we've got some simple, straightforward scenarios. So Writhing Fumes, this is what we're going to be playing today. And for each scenario, you get a setup, how to organise your terrain, where the wandering monsters are, special rules, a set of encounter tables. So this is all about snakes, vapour snakes, and where they're going to spawn, what the treasure and experience is, and tips for playing the game. So these are all limited, unlimited monsters. So basically, the longer you take, the more monsters are going to spawn. So you've got a second scenario, and this forms a campaign. So the narrative continues from story to story. So we then go into chapter 2, and that's talking about the difficulty. Instead of being more and more monsters spawning, it's talking about traps and obstacles. So it starts off talking about it in a general manner, so that you can build them into your own scenarios, and you know how to kind of balance them so that it's not an overkill. And then we go on to a couple of scenarios that are very much trap and terrain based. We then go on to the section called the Unknown, and this is really a section about exploring and setting up clues and room cards, so that when you're playing solo, you can have a set of terrain that is going to be different each time, and is going to reveal itself as you play the game. So we've got the background of how the rules work, and then we go into a couple of scenarios which are about random exploration. And then, because I've always been a bit of a D&D fan, ever since the late 70s when it first came out, we've got a dungeon crawl section. And this is about setting up some dungeon cards, wandering monster tables, connected scenarios, and how to play Frostgrave as a dungeon exploration game. And as through the rest of the book, it then goes on with some specific scenarios based on the dungeon exploration module. At the back of the book, we've got some sections about new treasure, some unique treasure tables, and a bestiary section that's got all of the stats and details of the new creatures that appear in these scenarios. So I'm really looking forward to having a go with the game. The scenario specifies a 2.5 foot square gaming area. My terrain is all based on 1 foot square Sally Forth Terra-Former tiles, so I've built a gaming setup that's 2 foot by 3 foot, and I hope that's going to kind of work okay. So the key thing is that the party starts at one corner, and the objective is the door at the opposite corner. There are 5 spawning points where creatures can appear at the end of each turn. So I've marked these with dice. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. At each of the spawning points there is a creature, a monster. So in this scenario they are large vapour snakes. Now I haven't got the specific model for those. I'm not sure if it's been released yet, so I've kind of raided my miniature collection, and we have some sort of D&D snake type of creatures. We've got a large snake from the Conan board game. We've got some multi-headed snakes from MageKnight. Just anything that I've got that can sort of fit the bill. So the entrance that we're trying to get through over here is guarded by another 2 creatures which are set up 8 inches away, and these are called Ballista II Constructs. Once again, I think this is a new model that's coming out which hasn't been released yet, so I've used a couple of old sort of MageKnight robot-y construct sort of type of things that look like they've got some sort of missile fire capability. And treasure. So treasure is set up at the 2 spawning points that are furthest away from the entry and exit point. So let's get started and see how the game plays. This is what the game looks like at the end of turn 1. So the wizard has moved up and she has cast strength on the infantryman who has attacked the vapour snake at spawn point 3 and has very, very successfully destroyed it. So over the other side we have the apprentice here. So she's moved forward and she's successfully cast telekinesis to move the treasure from the spawn point to 6 inches towards her. The rest of the soldiers have moved up in support. As the vapour snakes only take 1 point of damage from missile fire, the archer and the crossbowman have just moved up rather than shooting. In the creature phase, the creatures have ignored the 10-inch limitation and have moved towards any opponent in line of sight. This is what the game looks like at the end of turn 2. So the warband has split into 2. We've got a group to the left that's led by the mage Willow, and then we've got another group that's been led by the apprentice. The mages group has lost one of their rat thugs to a large vapour snake, and they've managed to sort of destroy another one. Let's take a little fly around and have a look at the action. This is what it's looking like at the end of turn 3. So we have one group almost at the stairs and another group that's really sort of taking the brunt of combat. So let's have a quick look. And here we are at the end of turn 4, and things are beginning to look pretty unhealthy. So with the wizards group, the infantryman has been killed by the ballista. A large vapour snake has made it into contact with the mage, and a large ballista has also made it into contact with the infantryman carrying the treasure. So at the end of turn 5, we called it that Willow the wizard had gone down. We'd lost over 50% of the party, so I think sort of treasure, fame and glory was going to have to come to us another day. So Willow went down. She'd done very well in fighting off the large vapour snake. She'd won the round of combat. It came back into contact with her, and she was attacked and taken down in the rear by the Ballista II Construct. And as we can see, that the critters are sort of swarming in on our warband. The apprentice Guinevere, so she is fighting a fighting retreat. Her party have made it to the staircase up to the exit position, but no, it's looking pretty bad. Okay, so that was the first playthrough of Writhing Fumes, which is the first solo adventure in Perilous Dark. Obviously, my warband, led by Willow the Enchanter, didn't do that well. She obviously got killed before getting to the exit. However, it was a lot of fun. It was challenging. I think that the sort of scenarios definitely got replayability, and I will look forward to trying it again. Could have done anything better? Well, I'm not really sure. A lot of it is in the luck. Obviously, my tactic was to create two groups, one based on the wizard and one based on Guinevere the apprentice, to use group activation. The magic selection, well, there's strength, that worked really well, improving the combat ability of the soldiers. Guinevere did absolutely fantastic, classic use of the push spell, managed to push a large vapour snake back 14 inches, that's a good result. Telekinesis, that was useful in sort of moving the treasure around. So I think we were just unlucky, we got sort of swarmed, overwhelmed, and I will be looking forward to trying playing this scenario again, hopefully winning it, and moving on to the other interesting, exciting scenarios in the book. I hope you've found the video interesting and useful, and that you're sort of keen to have a go playing Frostgrave solo. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out anything else that's coming. Okay, thank you.